Here we are again, streaming once more. I think I have the audio situation figured out. You should at least be able to hear me now, even if it's not perfect. I've got the mic so that it picks up sound a good 2 feet away from my face now, so it's actually somewhat usable. It's got a very mild noise gate on it, so it blocks out most of the really bad noise when I'm not talking, but it's still functional. I managed to get all 3 cameras to play nice. I'm not even bothering to use the built-in camera. It's such terrible quality that I just use the Logitech here. But damn, the hover cam and the Logitech, the Creative I have. This is the Logitech. This is the Creative, and the hover cam. You have to switch to this camera and wait for a moment for the Logitech to turn off, or it won't come on. They interfere with each other somehow. I still haven't figured out exactly how. But as long as you're careful with the order of the switching, and I'm sure you noticed the black screen part of the transition, having to disable each camera so only one camera is running at a time. Only way to get everything to play nice with each other. Finally done. The cat's just sitting here staring at me. Say hi to everybody, Batman. He's just staring at the camera, like, waiting. Like, why aren't you including me? Hold still for a second. Hold still. Hold still. There's a hair. I mean, you're made of hair, but come here. Let me get that. How's that better? That must have been bugging you. He had a hair in his eye. Okay. And I left the project over there. Okay. Probably thinking to yourself, what the heck is this? Ooh. Isn't that fancy? That is a Shuttle X. This particular one is Pentium 4 based. It is Windows 98 compatible. It currently actually has Windows 98 installed on it. Let me grab my screwdriver. I'll adjust our angle here so you can see what I'm doing. This little setup is pretty trick. I'm close enough that I can see what I'm doing on the screen. I can talk into the mic and you can hear me. Yeah, oh, 2 more screws up. I'm a space cadet. I absolutely love this little system. It technically has a built-in video card, but I found that built-in video card is complete garbage, so it's not really even worth bothering with. That pops right off there. We've got 3 screws holding it together. Not too much, although on most of these Shuttle X's, especially from 2004 to 2005, which I think this one is when this one was made. I'll see if I can find a date somewhere on it. But this little screw, the top screw, is twice as long as a standard case screw. So just pretty easy to tell which one's which. Just because of that, one of the screws is short or long, and 2 of the screws are short. Case slides right off. You ask me, the cases in these things remind me of the old style AT cases. AT cases. I have a couple of them lying around where the whole case just slides off the top. These things are so stuffed to the gills. It's not even. I mean, there's just no way to describe the engineering in these things. I think I left a disk in the drive. I'm sitting here. What is this noise? That's a good one. I always keep plenty of drive poppers handy. No? Alright, so then what is making that noise? I honestly don't know what the heck that is. This is a working system. It means it's my dream retro build. Well, nearly my dream retro build. This hanging out in the side here, just kind of stuffed sideways with about a millimeter of clearance with this fan. Here comes Destructo Kitty. Bite the wires, I guarantee it. That's what he does, is he just chews on my wires all day, every day. Okay, I just realized that my streaming quality is set wrong. My output resolution is no bueno. So I'm going to go ahead and stop and then restart the stream. Okay, that should be a little better. But this is a 2.8 gigahertz Pentium 4. It is hyperthreading capable, although I have the hyperthreading disabled. It doesn't do you any good in Windows 98 anyways. This is a GeForce 6 6600 GS. So this is the low-powered version of the 6600 card. You know, there's the three varieties that came out at the time, the GS, the Standard, and the GX, which was the equivalent of the old Standard and Ultra. There was the Budget, then the Standard, and then the Ultra. This is actually going to be replaced with a FX 5200 Ultra. It's a pretty significant downgrade, but it will vastly improve the compatibility of games that this thing is able to play and open up the realm of DOS compatibility for this. The 6600 has an issue that the best driver for it, the Forceware 72, version 72 or something like that, I forget which, this card will not function with DOS. If you boot in DOS, it'll provide most of the necessary VESA modes, but not all. But it has a major bug in Windows 98 where it prevents system shutdown entirely. So if you want to turn the computer off, you actually have to reboot it and then hold down the power button after the reboot cycle in order to prevent data corruption from your hard drive. And you can't boot into DOS mode at all. So it severely limits the utility of a Windows 98 retro gaming PC if it can't boot into DOS. DOS is kind of important, at least for what I'm trying to accomplish here. And so I'm going to be doing something that I never thought I would do, which is remove this video card. I was 100% sure this was going to be the permanent home of this video card. Still not entirely sure how I feel about the fact that I was incorrect on that. out. It's in here so tight. It's not even funny. Right. Both of these screws have got to come off. Yep. That's right, I forgot about that. Sitting here struggling with this thing. Okay. Good news is, in theory, this should be a little bit better for this system. Wow, that's gotten really dusty in the couple of months it's been in my room. Let me get my can of air. And I should show you the card, the Sound Blaster card that's in here. The last version of the Sound Blaster card that was somewhat supported by DOS, the Audigy 1 card, it has a really good software Sound Blaster 16 emulation that it runs in DOS Windows and will actually run in full DOS mode as well. You can make this, the drivers for this work with the Audigy 2. I have not yet successfully done that with my other retro setup. I'm going to. I just need to get the configuration information from this working Audigy, and then I'll be able to get the Audigy 2 working, because they're almost identical as far as the bits of hardware that are required for that emulation layer. So with a little bit of hackery, you can get the Audigy 1 DOS drivers working with the Audigy 2. Now, I was tempted to put the Audigy 2 Platinum that I have in here, but I would have had to give up the DVD drive, and that's a bit of a problem. Most Windows 98 games use CD or very rarely DVD, and of the vast majority of them actually require the disc to be inserted. There's ways around that, of course, but for the true retro gaming experience, you don't want to be using no CD cracks. Unless, of course, you used no CD cracks, and that's nostalgic for you. I'm not going to tell anybody what they can and can't do, just warn them what is legal and illegal so that they understand the consequences should they decide to do what they shouldn't do. I'm not here to tell anybody to do or not do anything. I'm just telling you, if you do it, you're going to get in some trouble. If you get caught. That's the key. That's always the key, if you get caught. But everybody assumes they're not going to get caught, and everybody does. This is the replacement. Honestly, it's not that much different of a looking card. The heat sinks on this one are on both RAM, on the RAM. This one, the heatsink is actually on what looks to an PCI Express to AGP bridge. Hold on. Cat just got into something again. Well, apparently the cat is behaving. We'll see if that's actually the case. The heatsink on the GeForce 6 is a little bigger. And of course, it has a PCI Express to AGP bridge chip, which, as you can see, has a heatsink that is almost as big as the GPU heatsink on this one. That little bridge chip generates about half of the total heat this thing generates. So removing that bridge chip and putting a AGP native card will help with the thermals in this a lot. This thing was this was cooking in here. Now the performance was worth it. let's just say that 6600 GS plays every game ever released for Windows 98. Max frames, at least 60 for every single bloody game I own for the Windows 98 platform. And quite a few for Windows XP because, you know, using the 32-bit extensions, that little whatever the heck it's, I forget. My brain is not functioning at the moment, obviously. But God, what's the name of that stinking software? Oh my God, my brain is just farting in my face right now, and it does not smell good. Anyways, there's a piece of software that you can use to correct that. Put that one back in. Alright, and the important bit is you got to make sure to plug the extra Molex power connector into the card. Now, I just repaired this card, so there is a distinct possibility that this will not work. In fact, there's even a small possibility that this will kill my system. Whenever you... Ow! That hurt. The retaining clip for the AGP slot. Ow. I don't miss those. I like the little pressure release system we have for PCI Express now. That really hurts. Anyways, this should be an all-round better system, hopefully. It'll be a bit slower because we're going back a generation on the architecture, but that backward step actually gets us a fair amount of Windows 98 compatibility. In theory, we should be able to get DOS mode support now, which has been my major gripe with this system. See, this is actually the reason, this little system right here is why I started all of this. I mean, I started it with the other system that's under the counter, but this is the holy grail right here. If this FX 5200 works, I'd still like to get myself on a 5600. That would be ideal, but you can't always have ideal. So now I need to move this into test bench position. Thankfully, the test bench is right here. So as far as camera goes, I'm not sure how I'm going to work that. Very special cord right here. Goes to my favorite keyboard ever. Is the cord on my mic is nice and long. And I do believe yep, I left the extension on this plugged in. So if you can bear with my shaky cam, we can go ahead and give this a shot. We'll turn on the monitor. It's my wireless control interface from my streaming system, which is a rather nice Beats Special Edition, HP NV23. That doesn't sound good. That doesn't sound good at all. Good news is my repair on the video card was successful. I got a post screen. So I'll take that, but I'm going to have to... This is why I actually screw in the case. So Murphy's Law states things can only go wrong. The corollary to Murphy's Law states that things will only go wrong if they can go wrong. Every once in a while, I'll deliberately tempt good old Murphy, because it actually saves me some time. So the extra 10 seconds of screwing these screws on made damn sure that it was going to fail. I'm hoping it's just the fan. I can fix that. Okay, I'm not sure what was making that noise because it seems perfectly fine now. One of these days I'll get around to changing the CMOS battery in this damn thing. Pretty sure that was the power supply. This thing's got a noisy power supply. I forget about that. Ugh. But we're in CMOS. I'd say that my repair is holding. Awesome. That was just a tiny bead of solder. You can actually see me do the repair on the previous live stream. I hadn't had the audio issues worked out yet, so the audio is really bad, just to warn you. So, with this sucker, for whatever reason, it, oops. For some reason, it always gets the CPU frequency wrong here. I have to go through and change every frickin' thing every fricking time. Actually, the AGP aperture size is good now. Integrated peripherals, we have to turn off the audio. USB keyboard support because I don't use USB keyboards on this. And the AGP slot. Okay, that should be good enough to boot it at full speed. This thing seriously wants to frickin' install an update right now. It's like, go eat a poopy head. There we are. Good old Windows 98 booting on this 2005 Shuttle X. Look at that. DOS mode support. I want to see if this thing works out of the box with the drivers that are installed. In theory it should. Yep, there we go. Beautiful. Look at that. FX 5200 Ultra. Yep. We'll reboot. Will it reboot? It rebooted. That's a good sign. Oh, this would be frickin' awesome. I got this card for $3 because it was broken. one millimeter ball of solder, and here it is. I love being able to fix shit. Please excuse the flicker. This is a CRT, there's nothing I can do about it, but I am not going to hook a Windows 98 machine up to a damn LCD. That's just asking for trouble. Alrighty. So hopefully switching out the video card and this hasn't hosed my Windows install, but since we're just going from one NVIDIA card to the other... Oh! You know, that's at the max resolution this monitor supports. That's a good sign. I found this monitor on the side of the road for free. Awesome. Good enough. There we go, get the color set to the right saturation, and look at that. It's set at 60 Hertz, so it should be nice and easy for you guys. Let's go ahead, go to properties, okay, NVIDIA display. Picked up the fact that it's a Mitsubishi. Awesome. Very much most awesome. Here's the true test. I got so many things on here that I'm having trouble finding the one I want. There's one of these here that I've got running with so many bloody things installed. Racing game, and I forget the name of it, so I'm doubly screwed here. Oh, incoming. Let's see if incoming runs. Let's see how incoming does. Oh, I need the damn CD. Ah, there it is. This is what I mean by the importance of the disk drive. Don't do that. Push the button. Don't be like me. Don't be so lazy that you never shave, you never cut your hair, and you never push the button, you only push the tray. Okay. Let's run. Only one direct 3D instance. Give me back the butthead. This is a pain in the butt. Anyways, the game I was thinking of was a 3D Effects Glide only game. I have DG Voodoo working perfectly on this thing. Mostly perfectly. Looks like this is having the exact same issue as before. Yeah, incoming does not like NVIDIA cards. Plays great on an ATI, but I've never been able to get it to run properly on an NVIDIA card. Maybe my GeForce 4 Ti will do. I don't know if the Ti will fit in this thing. Yeah, it's doing what it was doing before. Great. That's about as locked up as the system can get. Nope, it's just super slow. I'm gonna kill the game by popping the disc. Nope. I'm gonna take this as a not so good sign. Actually, it's almost manageable because I can actually move the cursors around. It's actually running faster than it did on the G4 6. I honestly couldn't tell you what the heck's going on here. Oh my god, just let me exit. What was the name of that stupid thing? It was an off-road racing game. Let's see. Need for Speed 3. Okay, this is another one that would work. That's not where it's supposed to be. Great. I don't know where I put my DG Voodoo files on this. Drivers. There it is. Okay. Okay. Now let's try. Oh man. Damn it.